Page 57. The Sioux Attack. The train had traveled 1,382 miles, and Fogg was expecting to reach New York on the 11th of December. They were speeding across vast, snow-covered plains. There were no houses or people, just endless space with a few trees and rocks here and there. From New York, Fogg and his friends would get on a ship to Liverpool, and then make the last stage of their journey to London. The next day, more trouble lay ahead. As the train rumbled its way through the heart of America, its rhythm was suddenly broken by the war cries of a band of Indians. Fogg looked out of the carriage window. He saw them on galloping horses, waving guns. "We're being attacked! Everyone, get down!" Women and children were screaming, and a window was smashed as a bullet shot through it. Some passengers with guns began to fire back through open windows. The Indian chief rode up to the front of the train and jumped inside. He hit the engineer, who fell to the floor. The chief wanted to stop the train, but when he pushed some levers, it only speeded up. The conductor was shooting alongside Fogg. "The Indians have got to the engine. We must stop the train in 5 minutes. Fort Kearny Station is just 2 miles away. The cavalry is there. They can help us. After Fort Kearny, there's nothing but wilderness, and the Indians will kill us." "We'll stop the train," said Fogg, ready to rush out of the carriage. "No, sir. I'll go," cried Passepartout. As quick as a flash, Passepartout was outside, and using his acrobatic skills, he crawled under the carriage. His head was a few Page 60. Inches from the track as the train sped along. Page 60. At last, he found himself under the iron bolt that joined the front carriage to the engine. It took all his strength to undo the bolt, but eventually it came loose, and the carriage and all the others behind it began to slow down. Not far away in the distance, Passepartout could see a tiny train station with a wooden platform, Fort Kearny Station. He sighed with relief. The engine, however, continued to race off down the track. When the rest of the train stopped, the Indians surrounded it. They climbed onto the carriage roofs. Guns were fired, windows were smashed, and people screamed. An Indian got into Fogg's carriage, but some passengers managed to pull him to the floor. With each Indian that was defeated, there was a gun to be taken and used against the others. Soon, the passengers heard other guns firing outside. Fogg quickly looked through a window. "The cavalry! They heard the attack at Fort Kearny. They're coming to our rescue." Aouda was relieved. "Thank heavens!" Soon, a large group of soldiers were galloping towards the carriages. At the sound of their guns, the Indians were surprised and rode away in fear. "Is everyone all right?" asked the captain. "Some passengers are hurt, but not seriously. We're counting them now," answered the conductor. After a while, he returned and gave his report. 3 passengers are missing. One of them is the Frenchman." Hearing this, Fogg stepped out and faced the captain. Page 61. "I'm offering £1,000, that is $5,000, to those who will help me rescue the prisoners." The captain was not happy about this, but eventually he agreed. Aouda was frightened as she watched Fogg and the other men gallop away. Fix was angry that Fogg was out of sight, but he respected his bank robber's bravery. Many hours passed, and Aouda sat waiting for Fogg and Passepartout in the waiting room of the station. The train engine was saved again and rejoined to the carriages. Aouda begged the conductor to wait for Fogg to return, but he refused. So she and Fix stood as the snow continued to fall and watched the train disappear down the track. They waited all night, but Fogg and the officers did not return. Next morning, the captain was about to send for more soldiers to find them when they heard gunshots. "Look!" cried one of his men. On the horizon they could just see some horses approaching from across the plain. "It's him! It's Mr. Fogg!" shouted Aouda. When Fogg and the officers arrived, everyone was pleased to see their safe return with the other passengers and Passepartout. Aouda took Fogg's hand. They looked into each other's eyes for a few moments, both smiling. "I'm so happy," said Aouda. Although they did not say it, Fogg and Aouda knew that they were falling in love. When Passepartout saw Fogg give the reward to the soldiers, he felt responsible once again for his master's troubles. "Not only have we lost a day, but I've lost my kind master a small fortune," thought the loyal valet as he looked around for the train. Page 62. "Where's the train?" "Gone," replied Fix. "When does the next one arrive?" asked Fogg. "This evening." "Ah," said Fogg quietly.